Welcome back to Straight Facts. It's Friday. I'm joined by Don. I'm joined by Staffy. We've got Dan, the Gooner, with us today as well. Loads to talk about and go through. Some crazy news in the last 10 minutes just before we went live. Some claims that a second bid for Alexander Isak is going to happen. Other claims stating that as it stands, the famous as it stands, there will not be another bid. We're going to be delving into that story, getting the boys' opinion, getting yours as well. We're also looking at another report that claims that Manchester United are now the front runners for Sesko and that Newcastle have pulled out. We're looking at Garnacho to Chelsea as the camp of Garnacho puts out another statement via Fabrizio that that's the club he wants. The club want him. It's going to happen later in the window. We're going to be talking Gyokeres as well as doubts around the striker start to emerge over his weight and all sorts of things like that. And I'm sure Don and Staffy have got lots to say on Victor Gyokeres. But get the like button smashed for us first of all. Make sure you are subscribing. Make sure that bell notification button is turned on as well. But the big breaking news, as we all saw, there's been a number of different journalists. Ben Jacobs, who's actually on this show in a couple of hours' time, along with others, including Ian Doyle, that have said that Liverpool indeed won't make a second bid for Isak as it stands. Ben Jacobs' words were, if I read these out, is that Liverpool have no plans as it stands. I mean, that actually rhymes. No plans as it stands to bid again for Isak. The nature of Newcastle's rebuttal means Liverpool will not follow up with a second offer. But Craig Hope, the Newcastle journalist, is saying Liverpool are readying a second bid. And that came after Ben Jacobs' update. Dave O'Cop, a really big in the know and respected journalist in the Liverpool community, also says a second offer of 40 million is being readied. It's a little confusing. Craig Hope, as you can see here, he said Alexander and his camp are forcing his move to Liverpool now. Isak has no intention, no wish, and no desire to play for Newcastle United again. So, gentlemen, I'm going to go to Staffy first. What's happening here? Are Liverpool pulling out? Is this public posturing? How does he play for Newcastle again after stating this? The fans have put up rap banners for him. They want him gone. Surely this isn't just going to peter out because the first bid was rejected. What are you saying, Staffy?
No, sure. Listen, a transfer big as this, it was always destined to happen. A player forcing a move, basically, a club that's not really willing to sell, and a club that wants to buy, who's, I wouldn't say a direct competitor, because I don't think Newcastle are going to compete for the league, even with Isak staying, but it is a Premier League team. So it just kind of all makes sense that this whole saga's happening right now. Don't you love when something like this happens? I mean, I feel like that's what we live for when it comes to transfer windows. We need a little bit of action. I don't want deals that are done in 2 days. I don't want boring deals like the Mbuemo one where we just waited for so long. I like a little bit of a saga. So it's kind of nice to see that. So I think it was always going to happen. Obviously, yesterday we got the news that Isak is actually training in Sociedad to stay in shape or whatever. So that just tells you where their relationship has become. I understand Newcastle fans. I would say, though, like, stay in your lane. Know who you are, and you wouldn't feel this way calling him a rat and all that because he's forcing a move. It's always happened in the Premier League. It's always existed. Good players always want to go to big clubs. Liverpool's a big club. Newcastle's not as big as Liverpool. They're probably a respected club, but it makes sense why he wants to move there. He's ambitious. He wants to compete for the league. He wants to play with some of the best players. So it was always going to happen. So there's no reason to really throw a fuss. Just take the money, respect the player, and allow him to move on. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I do expect Liverpool to go in with a second bid. I do think they're going to end up getting him. Is it going to take a while? Probably. It may take a couple more weeks, I think, but we'll see. I do think at the end of the day, Liverpool will place a second bid, and they'll place a third bid if they have to, and I think they'll get the player. It's just a matter of how much he's going to go for. I think it's probably going to end up being something around 150 million, which is what a lot of us thought he's worth, even before they were even linked with him this summer. I think last season we were speaking about it, and last year we were talking about it, how much would he go for? And we always valued them around that price. So I'd say Newcastle, listen, just take the money and move on. And so no reason really to cause a scene here. Just allow it.
What are you saying? What are you saying, Don? I mean, there's a lot of I feel like Newcastle fans feel like they're between a rock and a hard place because it's not as though they can go, "Oh, great, that means he's staying," because they have been on this man's neck for the past week, calling him. I mean, calling him a rat is probably the politest thing they've called him. Surely there's no way back for Isak at Newcastle,
bro. That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, Terry. Like I've got Jimmy at me in the group chat right now talking about, you see, Liverpool, Newcastle are not selling him. And I'm like, broski, it's the first bid. 110 million was never going to get accepted for this guy. They're the figures that are floating about. And that's 110 million package, Terry. That means they haven't even gone above 100 million as a base fee, right? That's going to get you, what, one leg? One leg of Isak's? You know what I'm saying? So, end of the day, they've made it known that they want to bring this guy in. Liverpool obviously have the money to pay for him. Isak is doing everything right now to force that move. You know, if you've got a player like an Isak right now who's basically messing up the morale of the team, you know what I'm saying? He's messing up the morale of the team. He's not training. He's training by himself. He's making it known that he wants to leave. The smart thing right now for Newcastle would be to sell him, and that's why they're looking at Sesko right now. I think Sesko will probably end up at United, and they'll probably come in for Jackson, right? But I'm with Staffy on this one. I definitely see Liverpool coming back in again, and sorting something out. You know what I'm saying? Because end of the day, you know, you sell Isak right now as much as you don't want to sell the guy, you can still go and bring in even 2 attackers, bro. Yeah, if you don't want to bring in 2 attackers, you bring in a striker, you bring in another midfielder, you bring in a defender or something, you strengthen the team even more. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I still think Liverpool will come in and get this deal done, man. I don't think that's going to be the end of it. There's no way Liverpool would come in, bid 110 million, expect him to come, and then just leave it as that. I don't see it, bro. I think they'll bid again, man.
What are you saying, Dan?
Do you know what? I actually think there's a higher chance he stays at Newcastle now. I really do. Because, I mean, look, everyone says it's impossible. Look, he scores 2 goals on the first day. Suddenly, all the fans, they forget about it. It's quickly forgotten in football, you know? And I'm sure some fans can understand him wanting to go to Liverpool. But I don't Liverpool, when do they really get pushed like that and spend what they don't want to spend? I think their infrastructure is... They do it very well, very, very well. And I think they'll have a number in their head which they don't want to go past, which is probably 120 million, possibly, maybe 130. I do not see Liverpool spending 150 million on a 27-year-old. How many years has he got in his contract left?
We've got 3 years. 3 years.
3 years. So I think there could be the situation where Newcastle say, give us 1 more year, you know, and if we don't challenge for the title, or if we don't go far in the Champions League, you know, give us 1 more year. We see it happen over the years. We saw it with Ronaldo with Man United. Famously, he stayed that 1 more year, and then they sold him for 85 million. The year he won Ballon d'Or, he nearly went to Real Madrid. He stayed 1 more season, and then he went.
Yeah, but
so, I just don't see Liverpool. I don't think Liverpool, they don't get held to ransom like that, and I think they've got a strong enough squad anyway. I don't see them paying 150 million for Isak. I just
but D, let's be real though, D. Hold on, let's be real though, D. Yeah, like the way Liverpool have come in with this first bid, right? Come on, let's be real. No, everyone knows you're not going to get Isak for that price. So are we now saying, yeah, that Liverpool are just wasting everyone's time? Like they're basically half-hearted on this move. They don't really want this guy, because if you're going to bid 110, if you're going to bid 110, if you're going to bid 110, if you're going to bid 110 and walk away, that shows me that you're not serious about the guy, because you were never going to get him for that price.
It was 120, wasn't it?
Ben Jacobs is saying 110 million package.
Okay. But you don't think who's reporting that they're not going to come back in for a second bid? Because
Ben Jacobs, apparently Matt Law's saying the same. Apparently Matt Law's saying the same. Let me check Matt Law's tweet, because apparently he's saying the same as well. Obviously Ben Jacobs has said it, but I don't know, man. I
will say one thing: Isak's not 27; he is 25.
Oh, 25.
Yeah, Isak's 25.
Turning 26 soon.
Wait, but I was asking a question. You don't think he's worth 150? I think that's too much.
Possibly, maybe not though. I don't know. 150 million, man. What did Haaland go for? Do you know what I mean? It's a lot of money, man. No, and he does have injuries. The guy does have injuries. He does have an injury.
So Haaland was on a release clause though, and let's not forget, the guy's bonuses and the Asian fees and all that was way more than the 150 that they're going to pay for what's his name, Isak. So let's not pretend that that didn't happen. I understand the transfer fee was only what 45 on Haaland.
Hang on, guys. Guys, we have some breaking news. And I want to read this to you now, right? I want to read. I love that. It reminds me of Terminator 1, that music. I heard it today. I was like, I'm going to add it.
I just missed it, man. I went to play
That's
that.
I've never heard that music before.
I love that 80s feel. And I want to read you this. Ben Jacobs with a brand new update. Remember, he's going to be with us, and I'll be questioning him on all of this on the next show. But see, this is why I didn't get excited. I don't want Liverpool getting him. This is why I didn't get excited. I'll read it to you. No second bid is currently being prepared. Liverpool will only revisit if Newcastle now offer clear encouragement, which has not come to date. No counter made to the 110 and acknowledgement of Newcastle's 150 million asking price. Just
seen this game before, man.
Despite a feeling amongst Newcastle insiders that they value Isak at this level. Newcastle want Isak to sign a new deal, etc. So again, this is what's going to happen, in my opinion. And this is why I wouldn't have lost my mind as a Liverpool fan. I'd have said, cool. Is Liverpool waiting for some encouragement? Newcastle were going to try again with Isak. But if you notice what Craig Hope said, he is pushing. He doesn't want to come back. If they go another week or two, and I'll tell you what Newcastle were going to do here. They are not going to show any encouragement until after match week 2 when they play Liverpool. Newcastle are not going to want Isak in that lineup to dunk on them early in the season. The encouragement is going to come in a couple of weeks' time when he's not going to be ready for that game. He won't be matched fit for that game, or it can't happen, and it will get done. So again, not happening as of now. Liverpool will only revisit if they get encouragement. This is the same as Newcastle's briefings when they said he ain't for sale for love nor money unless you pay us 150 million. Well, that means he is for sale then. Liverpool are doing the same thing in reverse. We won't bid now unless you show us a little bit of encouragement. You show us, you got to lift the skirt up a little bit. We need to see a little bit of fire, and then I'll make a move. That's all this is. And I think people, again, it's desperation. I get it. Arsenal fans, City fans, Chelsea fans, Jimmy, that you mentioned, Don, desperate for Liverpool not to get him. Newcastle desperate to not let it happen. Some Liverpool fans desperate for it to get over the line. Not reading the articles, not understanding the transfer language. That's just my view. This deal for me is still going to happen, personally.
I think what it comes down to, though, is if they can get a replacement. I see Newcastle playing hardball and not selling if they can't get an adequate replacement. If they can't get a Sesko, and it seems to me, I don't know if it's because they're up in the northeast or whatever, but they can't get any of their targets. Name me one target that they've got so far this season. They haven't got one.
Ramsdale.
Elanga, what?
Ramsdale, yep, Ramsdale they got.
Ramsdale, come on, but I'm sure they was in for other keepers, wasn't they?
They got Ekitike.
They wanted Trafford, didn't they? And
yeah, no, you're right.
Do you know what I mean? They don't get like Staffy was saying. These Newcastle fans as well. They do need to stay in their lane, definitely. If they think they're bigger than they are, 70 years without a trophy. Do me a favor.
I like that. I like the energy. Listen, Cunha dunked on, Wemo dunked on.
Exactly.
Joao Pedro dunked on.
Newcastle fans,
it's speak for you out there. It really is. You know,
hey, don't forget Delap, man. Don't forget Delap, bro.
Delap, another one.
Were they for Delap? I don't remember
that.
Yeah.
They wanted Delap, Cunha, Mbumo, the keeper you mentioned, James Trafford.
If you're going to go live somewhere up north, yeah, you got to be Man United or Liverpool to stand a chance, yeah? Newcastle, nah, man.
That's the thing about Newcastle. It's not goal,
you know what I mean? It's not goal.
No, bro, Newcastle is so north. Manchester feels south, bro. Like, that's how north it is.
Bro, Newcastle's literally next door to fucking Scotland.
I know, it's near Scotland, bro. I know when I do the train journey up there, bro. It's a mission, bro.
Yeah. It's far, you know what I mean? It's far, man. So listen, Newcastle right now.
Staffy's sitting like a typical American guy, and I don't know geography of the world.
I've always heard that. There's a couple of things I know about England.
Staffy, if you come to England, though, it's the best night out. I tell you that.
Yeah,
no, I've been to England. All I know is Newcastle's all the way up north, and I know Southampton is all the way down south. That's all I know. And
I'm telling you, Staffy, Newcastle is far, bro. But in terms of for them to get themselves in a position where they're not being rejected like this, it's gonna take such a long time, bro. It's gonna take such a long time because when you're looking at Newcastle, they've got the richest owners. Yeah, their owners could blow everyone out of the park. But because of PSR,
Exactly.
they
missed the party, man. That's why City and Chelsea are lucky, man, when they come into all this money.
Yeah.
It's at the perfect time where they've built that infrastructure now. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. You know what I mean? It's going to be so hard because they've got the money there, but they can't spend it the way they want to spend it. If they could, there would be, bro,
it'll be over.
Everyone.
They would have been in for Mbappe, bro. You get me? That's how it would have been.
Yeah. Because I remember when Man City went in for like Robinho. I remember they bought Adebayor. They had the flashy signings at the time.
Our players, man.
Yeah. They had a lot of flashy signings at the time, bro.
They had so much money back then. I mean, Robinho, I still love that Robinho story where he's like, I thought I was signing for Man United, but I didn't know there was 2 teams in Manchester.
Yeah, man.
But they had the money.
It's just crazy.
They had the money to go and do it. A few comments here. This says Newcastle were never going to negotiate for Isak before signing a striker to avoid getting rinsed themselves. It's all posturing. He'll move eventually. And that's also another great point. That's another great point. Yeah. It's a great point. Newcastle, and what has happened today, and I think it is well worth pointing out, is Craig Hope has also reported that Newcastle have stepped away from Benjamin Sesko. That's come out in the last half an hour to 45 minutes. So, you know, they're pulling away from that deal. They're going to pivot somewhere else. The talk is it's going to be Ollie Watkins they go to next, because obviously he is better than Jackson. He is better than other options that are out there. But it's Ollie Watkins they go for next. Yeah, I agree. And that leaves the door for Man United to sign one of the best young strikers in the world. So happy days, man. Not bad for 15th. Happy days.
Yeah,
Staffy,
I mean, listen,
Staffy might start smile for a change.
Listen, man, don't worry about my smile, okay? I don't tell you how to feel. I don't police no emotions.
That is lies. That is lies. You police me every day.
I don't police your emotions. I police you, not your emotions.
Clout chasing me on Twitter. Please, Terry, retweet me. I need followers, please.
Yeah, you go and you find my old tweets and retweet them anyway. So who's actually clout chasing?
That's what I do. Yeah.
But for a team that finished 15th, it's not bad to get Sesko, Cunha, Mbuemo. That's not bad business. You know, the outgoings haven't been impressive, but those 3 additions are good.
Got to sort that defense out though, and that keeper, man. Or you'll be lucky. I mean, listen,
we got to sort out the keeper, the midfield. It's going to be a long process. It's just going to take a lot. It's going to take at least a couple transfer windows.
10 years.
10 years. Shut up.
Minimum. You got a new Google goalkeeper. I don't think it's going to take 10 years.
Let me ask you, Wazer, because you've got 2 United fans in here. Do you think there's a chance at all? Because it's generally going to be top 5 now. Yeah. Do you think there's a chance, like any chance, that you could actually finish in the Champions League places, top 5?
No chance, no.
No chance, no. Terry?
I don't know.
Top 5. A slim chance. We're not finishing above. We're not finishing above Chelsea, Arsenal, City, or Liverpool. It really does depend on how the Newcastles and Villas and Brightons look.
Callum Wilson's gone as well, ain't he? As a free agent, I think he's going West Ham. But who they got up top if Isak goes? No one.
Right now, no one.
The front 3 is going to be Jacob Murphy, Gordon, and who?
Not even Callum Wilson, because they let him go. They don't even have Callum Wilson.
That's what I mean. So they literally don't have a striker. So if they let Isak go, there's no way he's going until they sign a striker. Possibly even 2.
No, I agree. Look, I'm not predicting United top 5. There is a slim chance if things click, if things go well, if we improve. I think we can make the top 8. I think we have got a chance of a European position with the strikers we've got. I'm not too worried about the defense. As in, I know it needs to improve. I know we need to buy better defenders. None of that is wrong, but we've got a limited budget this summer. You know, we're going to spend 200-ish million, maybe just over. We'll sell a few players. We're only ever going to spend that amount. We can't fix our attack. We can't fix our midfield. We can't fix the defense and the goalkeeper all in that space. Why it was always going to take 2 or 3 summers. But I stand by what I've been saying for weeks. I think we can score 35 to 40 more goals. I think 30 would be great. I'm pushing the team to do 40. I'm setting some high standards there. Go and get 40 more goals with the attackers that we've brought in. That will lead from anywhere between 7 to 10 more wins. You add 7 to 10 more wins in, you know, you've got a chance of those European positions. And as other people say, "Oh, Terry, it's not as simple as that."
Sound like me when I'm in the title race trying to work it out how many games.
But I do think there's a logic to it in the sense of we're all looking at Chelsea and we're all saying they could be in the title race for a period. Add a world-class goalkeeper, our mind changes. You improve in certain positions and you see more wins.
I tell you what, whoever gets Donnarumma at you two is gonna. If one of you two manage to get him, wow.
He's staying.
He's asking for too much money, and I'll be honest, I don't think he's worth all that. He's currently on like 240.
But you guys paid De Gea 325,000 a week as your top earner. So surely, if
he ain't what we need, man. He ain't what we need.
Wait, hold on. Did you agree that they should have been paid 300k a week?
He's not what Chelsea needs, Donnarumma.
Bro, he's not good with his feet, bro. We need a keeper that's good with their feet and a good shot stopper. That's why we're looking at Maignan. Maignan is a better option for Chelsea, not Donnarumma, bro.
Maignan? Nah, man.
Maignan good with his feet, bro. Yeah, people just getting carried away of Donnarumma because it's a big name. But at the end of the day, why am I going to bring in
I hear what you're saying, though. I hear what you're saying regarding playing with his feet and that. He's a bit...
Yeah.
Hang on. The only thing I disagree with that on, Don, is Donnarumma is playing for maybe the best footballing team in the world right now. So why would Chelsea not be able to play good football with him in goal, but PSG could be the best team in the world at football with him in goal?
Bro, have you seen his passing from the back?
That's not my question. How are PSG able to play good football with him and you couldn't?
No, bro, well, once again, but Terry, equally, I can ask you why after their best ever season they're moving on for Chevalier.
I understand that, and it's a great. It is a good counter, but that doesn't undo the fact that we all watched PSG last year. They were amazing.
Mate, Arsenal would have been in the final if it weren't for him.
They played brilliant football, and he was in their team. In fact, but they're trying to get him to sign a new deal, though. They're offering him a new contract.
Yeah, but he wants crazy money.
Yeah, because of what he is.
For a team that won the treble, I'd pay the best goalkeeper in the worth 300k if I thought he was.
That's why United are linked with him.
Hang on a minute. Sorry, Dan. They are looking at options because the goalkeeper's got a year left on his deal and he's stalling. But we watch the football. There is empirical evidence. PSG, would all four of us agree, play fantastic football.
Yeah, the best.
With him in goal. So you don't have to rate him. I'm just saying Chelsea will not struggle to play good football just because Donnarumma's there, because PSG are proof that you can do it.
No, but I don't think he called him a bad goalkeeper. He said he's not what we need. If you're going to move forward,
but it doesn't make sense. If PSG can play good football and play it from the back with him as their goalkeeper, why can't Chelsea?
Yeah, but they've only done it for like one, max 2 seasons with him being there, and they finally were able to win.
Man.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Donnarumma
had a great year. That's not what I'm saying.
To another level, 100%.
You're not getting my point. They've had a great year, and he was a part of it. Let's not pretend that they were playing great football because of him. If anything, they finally won a Champions League because he decided this is the year that I'm not going to make a mistake. If anything, he made that one mistake against Liverpool, and then he got saved the game after by Ousmane Dembele. This guy, him and Marquinhos, you're on mute, Don. Him and Marquinhos are the reason that every year they don't win the Champions League because he always has a mistake in him. I'm not saying he's a bad goalkeeper, but when you really look at his career, he's been very underwhelming for so many years, even in the Euros.
He won the Euros with Italy as well, and he was phenomenal.
Yeah, but he's great on penalties. I'll give you that. On penalties, he's A1. Outside of that, you look at him and you understand why people don't want to give him 300k. If you're on 300k, you have to be like Prime Neuer, Courtois. I look at those guys, even Alisson.
These guys are 325k from you.
But we didn't agree with it. So why do you keep bringing up a bad example? Because I bet
it doesn't matter if we agree with it or not. The board gave it to him. Do you know what I mean?
Did you agree with it 3 years ago when De Gea was getting paid 300k? You probably were making fun of United fans, and I didn't know you 3 years ago. But you probably made fun of United for that. See, you're smiling because it's true. You probably made fun of United.
Yeah, I know I did, but I'm saying it doesn't mean that just because fans don't think it's possible. Obviously, the board.
No, but it was the wrong decision. You think it was the wrong decision?
Kai Havertz is on 280 a week. I don't agree with that, but Arsenal gave it to him. So it doesn't, just because we don't agree with it doesn't mean like the United board won't say, you know what, we need a goalkeeper. Amarian might be like, listen, Onana's costing you lot probably the most points, right? If you get a Donnarumma, then I would actually believe you lot could make top 5.
No, of course. I take them over Onana. That's not a debate. No. That's not a debate at all. 100%. Yeah. I would take you over Onana, and I don't even know. But I take you over Onana.
Well, I'm saying
a lot has been said. A lot has been said.
Just putting Donnarumma on 300k. It's just too much for any club to do that.
The money I get, what I still don't. Again, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I've not been given an explanation yet as to why Chelsea can't play good football with Donnarumma in goal.
I've already told you why, bro. Because there's goalkeepers like Maignan who are much better than this guy on the ball. It's as simple as that. He's not the right profile, bro. Maignan is better than Donnarumma on the ball. Let's have it right. Maresca basically wants his centre back to be like an extra centre back, bro. Right? We can elevate even more if we bring a goalkeeper who is a lot more comfortable on the ball. If we had Alisson, if we had even Edison on the ball, Chelsea would look a lot better with how we want to play. Donnarumma is not offering us that, bro. No one's talking about his shot stopping being bad. No one's saying he's a bad goalkeeper. But in terms of the profile that we need, Maignan would be a better signing than Donnarumma, is what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't see much of an upgrade when I'm looking at Donnarumma's kicking and Sanchez's kicking, bro. You know what I mean? You might say Donnarumma's a better keeper. That doesn't mean that I want him.
He's a million times better than Sanchez.
Watkins is a better striker than Jackson. But does that mean that we should sign Watkins? No. You know what I mean? So end of the day, I just don't think he's the right profile for us, bro. Especially with the money he's asking for. If you're gonna ask for that money, you better be Prime Neuer on the ball.
No, and he probably with Chelsea, he probably want a 10-year deal as well.
Yeah, like I don't. Yeah, if we're gonna get rid of Sanchez, bring me a goalkeeper that can do both, shot stop as well as they're very good on the ball. That's what we need. That's what we need, man. We play out from the back a lot, and Donnarumma does not give me the confidence that over 90 minutes in 38 games he'll be able to do it to the level that we need him to.
What he can do, though, and we saw that in the Champions League run, he made saves in that tournament that led to his team making history. And Mike Magnon's good,
live at the Emirates,
mate. What we saw from him in those games was I think is more important than the feet. And we've seen that at Man United. We got rid of a very good shot stopper who was making mistakes, but a very good shot stopper for someone who's meant to be better with his feet. And he's the stats are still better than David De Gea with his feet, even though he's not been good. But we then, you need to make sure that shot stopping ability is of the elitist of the elitist levels.
Sanchez's shot stopping hasn't been the issue, though. It's more his bozo moments that he's had. Like we see the mistakes that he's had. But in terms of the shot stopping, I can never put him down in regards to that, bro. He's actually, if you actually go check his save percentage, it's higher than Donnarumma's last season, bro. You saw what he was doing in the final. If that was Donnarumma, man, we'd be talking about world class. You know what I'm saying? So end of the day, yes, I want to upgrade on. Hold on, D. I want to upgrade on Sanchez. I'm not against upgrading Sanchez. This has got nothing to do with Sanchez. Before people say, "Oh, you think Sanchez is better?" No, we need better than Sanchez, and we need better than Donnarumma. That's the point that I'm making.
Well, so for you, there's not much difference between Donnarumma and Sanchez, though.
I think Donnarumma's better. Yeah, I think he's a better keeper,
but not by much. They're similar
in terms of what we need on the ball. No, I think they're both meaty on the ball. I think they're both meaty on the ball, man.
And Sanchez is a better shot stopper. You said he's got a better percentage.
No, I think they're both very good shot stoppers, bro. But the season that just went, Sanchez had a better shot.
Didn't you just say Sanchez is better though? He's got a higher percentage, so he's better.
The season that just went, yes, he had a better save percentage, bro. Go check it.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm making sure I heard right. I'm just asking to make sure.
I still think Donnarumma's a better keeper. Of course, he's had a better career. Like he makes mistakes, but not to the level of.
He's elite, man. He's elite, bro. He's elite. He's top 3-4 keepers in the world, man. He's elite.
Listen, that's your opinion, innit? But I'm talking about what we need in the goal, bro. And we need a goalkeeper.
You're a Chelsea fan, innit? So you watch your team more in that, innit? So yeah.
Let's go to some of these comments that have come through here. This says Arsenal backed off Isak due to Newcastle's demands. Liverpool now know why they had to run clear of him. Pay the 150 million or stop wasting time. Interestingly, Craig Hope has just tweeted, the big Newcastle journalist, with loads of thinking face emojis, and then says Liverpool say they won't make a second offer after unsettling Isak and going in way below the number they knew would make the deal happen. All of this for what? A tactic? Already to leave Sanchez? Already to leave Isak in limbo and walk away. A month until the window closes with like a sort of sand timer emoji. A bit of a pop in there, really. But I think Craig Hope's had a mare on this deal the whole summer. Yeah. I just can't imagine Liverpool doing all this to unsettle Isak. Isak training in another country, faking an injury, just for them to put 1 bid in well below the last.
That whole Real Sociedad thing. I was shocked when I saw that.
Listen, at the end of the day, Newcastle are not in Newcastle. I'd much rather be in Spain right now than the UK training. You don't want to be with his teammates. He probably doesn't want to be walking around the town and city of Newcastle with him forcing him to move away from the club. Fans are really turning on him, and some of it's been a bit vicious, really. Surely Liverpool fans won't want Isak now after what he did at Newcastle. The Trent treatment showed us they don't accept pushing for a move.
That's funny.
Yeah, look, no one's telling Liverpool fans how they should think and feel, but what we did say the whole time is that if it was the other way around, if your team's improving for a deal, no one ever cares that really happens in the grand scheme of things. The same as the Newcastle fans with Vissa. If they end up getting him and he's banging in goals, they're all going to celebrate. They're not going to stand in the stands in silence and go, "Oh, we shouldn't cheer this goal because he forced the move." They're going to love the man. Newcastle were never going to negotiate for Isak. Oh, sorry, already done that super chat. With or not with Isak, we will win the league. Do you think, Dan, Liverpool, if they don't get Isak, a lot of people have made this conclusion that I don't know what Don and Staffy have said. They're going to win the league. It's 100% definite. No one's going to stop them. Does Liverpool not get an Isak completely change that, in your opinion?
Look, I don't think this. I think if they get him or not, it's not going to be a walk in the park for Liverpool. It will not be like last season. 100,000,000%. I could lay money on it that Arsenal and City are both going to be much better. And I think it's going to be the three teams going for it, and it's going to be close. Whether they get Isak or not, Arsenal are going to be there or thereabouts, and so are Manchester City. And Chelsea could be there as well. I just think Chelsea, I said it before, Chelsea remind me of Arsenal, possibly could be like Arsenal 2 or 3 years ago, 2022-23, when we came out of nowhere after finishing 5th and we nearly won the league. But in the end, we didn't have enough experience. And I feel like that could be the same situation with Chelsea. We were talking about the other day, Terry. They've got no players over 30. I think 4 or 5 over 27. You know, that if they could have kept, like, I know Thiago Silva is like 40 now, but if they because of the way they do things now, they operate. They don't sign players, older players. They're not going to go and get a Ballack like they used to when he was 30 years old or whatever. And I think that could affect Chelsea. I think these players are going to have to grow. The Fernandezes and people like that become the leaders. But I think whether Isak, and answer to your question, whether he goes there or not, I don't see Liverpool running away with this title at all. I think it's going to be close. I think Arsenal will be right up there, and I think City will as well. And I think it's going to be the big three again, fighting for the title.
Firstly, don't compare Chelsea to my club, because my club actually wins stuff. Yeah, that's number one. And number two,
Chelsea.
Right?
Don't compare Chelsea to who? Your club.
Don't compare Chelsea to Arsenal, because we actually win trophies. You know what I'm saying? You man are just happy to be there, thereabout, and whatnot. You know what I mean? You man are just happy to just be there and talk about second. And when you talk about experience, who's inexperienced in our team, bro? Name me all the players.
I'm talking age-wise, isn't it? You don't really have much experienced players.
Forget about the age, bro. Saka ain't even 25, and he's got the experience of a guy that's nearly 30, bro. Right? You got to look at the amount of games that they've played. There's many players in our team right now that are going into like their fourth season in the Prem, right? Their third season in the Prem. I'm not hearing this thing about guys aren't experienced. And if anything, my players hold on. My players actually have experience of winning together, not once, twice. Yeah,
within weeks of each other. Right? West Ham players won that.
Conference League or not, Conference League, the Club World Cup. Yeah, they've had a feeling. Hold on, they've had a feeling of winning together. Your boys haven't got that yet, right? You can talk about, yeah, we've competed in the past however many years it's been. But at the end of the day, football's moved on, bro. The teams around you have now improved, right? When you first competed, you was only up against. You
lot have improved. That's it.
Dan, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Let Don finish his flow, and then we'll come to you next, mate. Sorry, mate.
There's three other teams around you right now. Yeah, you missed your train because you should have won the league the first year. You lot bottled it. Your mentality wasn't there. It was the first year competing. Cool, fair enough. The second year, you only lost out by, was it a point? You did well in the second half of the season, and last year you fell off, right? So I don't understand this thing that you Arsenal fans have, where you're just guaranteed to just finish second. You're not guaranteed to finish second, bro, because the teams around you now are getting better, right? And when you talk about your style of play, when I'm watching your game the other day, if you decide to go into the season playing like that, broski, you probably finish third, fourth. Yeah, you'll finish far away from whoever finishes first, right? So stop sitting on your high horse like you've won the league the past 2 seasons when you haven't. You know what I mean? You got close, cool, you competed and that, cool, but you haven't won anything, bro. Your players haven't won anything. Saka's been playing for how long? He has won nothing. Yeah. You talk about our lack of experience. We need 30-year-olds, bro. There's so many players in our team that have a lot of experience. Reece James's experience, Cucurella's experience. Caicedo has been playing in the Prem now for 4 years. You got Levi Colwill going into his 4th year in the Prem. Enzo Fernandez in his 4th year in the Prem, right? He's won the World Cup. He's won the Club World Cup. He's won trophies, bro. A lot of these guys that you're talking about, that you're looking at, that were inexperienced before, have been gaining this experience. The past 3 years, what do you think they've been doing? Yeah, they competed for what? Top 6, they got it. They competed for top 4, they got it. Yeah, we've gone through a lot of adversity. These guys have lost together in finals. They've got to semi-finals together. There's been a lot of experience they've gained in the past 3-4 years. So I'm not hearing nothing about, oh, Chelsea lack experience. We don't lack experience. We've got experienced players. There's a few positions that we need to upgrade on. Like, I agree with you, like the goalkeeper, for example. We need to bring in a right centre-back because Fofana can't stay fit. You know, I don't want Garnacho. We'll speak about him later. But end of the day, I'm not looking at my team and thinking we're inexperienced. We've got a lot of experience in this team, bro.
None of your players have even played in the Champions League, mate. Yeah.
But they have though. They have played in the Champions League.
You wait till you play in the Champions League and the Premier League. And what I said is that
I've got winners. I've got Champions League winners in my team.
It might hurt your feelings, but what I said is that Liverpool and City and Arsenal will be in the title race. That's what
are you talking about? D, you're waffling now, bro. Reece James won the Champions League. Enzo Fernandez has even played in the Champions League for Chelsea.
Yeah, Reece James won the Champions League.
Hold on, bro. He played in the Champions League for Benfica. Cucurella's played in the Champions League with Chelsea. We've got players that have played in there, bro. Yeah, we telling me what Caicedo not gonna go in there and they won't be able to handle it.
Reece James, how often does he play, bro? Come on, man.
He won the Champions League, bro. He was playing.
I know, but you might as well rip up his contract. The guy never plays. What I'm saying
is, waffling about, bro? He's been fit majority of the season.
Look, I said that Arsenal, will be in the title race, right? And I said possibly you lot might, but I don't think you got enough experience. So do you think that you're going to be in the title race?
I do think we'll be in the title race. Yes.
You think you'll be in the race? Yeah. You think you'll finish above Arsenal? I do.
I've got a strong chance. I'll predict end of the window about that, but we've got a very strong chance of finishing above you. But end of the day, finishing above Arsenal, doing all this with me, it means nothing unless you're winning the league. Don't tell me you're going to finish above us unless you're winning the league. I don't care about
that's what I said to you. I said that Arsenal would be in the title race. That's what I said. I said what I feel. I feel it will be between Arsenal, Liverpool, and City. And there's a possibility that Chelsea could be there or thereabouts. I don't think you've got enough experience. That's just my opinion. If you think you'll be in the title race, then you think you'll be in the title race. But I don't see Chelsea going the whole way. I see Arsenal, Liverpool, and City being the main three teams battling it out for the title. Yeah, just as it has been for the last 3 years. Yeah,
the last 3 years, bro. You didn't even compete last year, really. You didn't compete last year, did you?
We did compete, and we
you
also
competed up until
we were in the semi-finals of the Champions League, and we were in the title race till about say January or February.
To be fair, you did compete for the Champions League. I agree with that, but I'm talking about the league. In the league, you didn't compete. Even when your team was fit, Liverpool were creating a gap.
Yeah, but halfway there were only about 5-6 points ahead of us. So let's say 2.5 years, and we all know the amount of crippling injuries that we had. And we still finished second.
Yeah. Okay, that one. Yeah, we've had a lot of injuries over the years as well. You got to deal with it.
Come on,
last season we had injuries too.
Nowhere near like the injuries that we had. Nowhere near.
No, we had both of our strikers out as well. We were playing fucking Pedro Neto up top. You were playing Marino up top. Like, it's not just you that had injuries. We had injuries too.
But we had our best players out though, innit? That's the difference.
So did we, bro. We had Lavia out. We had Fofana out. This is what I mean. You need to. That's what I'm saying. D. Sounds like you don't really watch other teams because everything that you're saying is through an Arsenal lens right now. No one's disputing that you had injuries, but so did we. You don't see me crying about it.
Listen, I'm saying our injuries, it was facts that we had the most more than anyone. Tottenham was second. Tottenham went from finishing 5th to 16th. We still finished second, just not as many points.
Yeah, because you still had a very good defense, and lucky for you, you had Marino that stepped into your team and was actually finishing his chances. He outperformed Jackson and he outperformed Kai Havertz, bro.
No, not outperformed Jackson, man. Jackson was scoring goals, bro. Jackson got like what?
Nah, bro. Listen, I'm telling you now, Marino when he came in second half of the season was better than Jackson up top. Jackson second half of the season stunk. He stunk, bro.
It was the first.
You know what I mean?
Well,
to Dan's claim, Don. Are you confident that Chelsea will be? Because you don't want to be compared to Arsenal, but he said that Arsenal are going to be in the title race. Do you see you guys being in that title race?
100%. I've told you already that we're competing this season, bro. We're competing. I don't think we're going to win the league. I still think Liverpool are the favourites. And if they get Isak, bro, listen, get their name ready in it to go and win the league. You know what I'm saying? But I think we're going to go further like this season coming in terms of competing, bro. Because what let us down last year when we was basically, we could have gone first at Christmas was our finishing. I'm looking at our attack right now. We've got João Pedro. Well, yeah, you can talk about the manager as well. Cool. But for me, the biggest problem was our finishing, bro. Now we've got Delap that can finish. You've got João Pedro that can finish. We're bringing players like, for example, Xavi Simons. He comes in. Cole Palmer looks like he's got his spark back as well. You know what I'm saying? So end of the day, like you said, Terry, goals win you games. And that's what we were lacking with last season. There were so many games I can list off, right? Fulham, we drew against these guys. We lost against them at home where we should have beaten them. We drew against Bournemouth. We lost against Ipswich. We lost 6 points against Ipswich, bro. Yeah.
When did you last play in the Champions League, though? When did Chelsea last play in the Champions League?
2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Yeah, so
2 years ago.
So now you're gonna have to play in with Champions League football. It's totally different. You can't rest your team like you did last year and be resting everyone and playing the reserves in that Tin Pot Cup that you're talking about.
I agree.
That you won. You're going to be playing now Wednesday, Saturday, mate. Champions League, big games. Bayern Munich on the Wednesday, Liverpool away on the Sunday. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's going to be different, bro. It gets a lot more difficult. Just like Arsenal that season, when we very nearly won it, we was playing in Europa League. We can rest players in Europa League.
Mhm.
And then the season after, we played in the Champions League and we managed to go up a level. We signed Declan Rice and it gave us that boost. The year after, we didn't do it. We signed Calafiori, Marino and Sterling on loan. And the club, the board, didn't give us the push when we needed it most.
I hear
This year, they seem to be doing it. And if we get Eze, especially if we get Eze, he's that maverick, that guy that can change a game in an instant. If we get Eze, then I will be very confident of our chances of going for the league title.
I hear what you're saying.
Do you think Arsenal will be in the title race? What do you think then? You think it's going to be a four whole race, or do you think Liverpool going to run away with it?
Yeah, no, I don't think Liverpool run away with it, right? But right now, I can see them creating a gap. Like, I think they're better than everyone else. When you talk about their attack, their midfield, and their defense, I think it's probably the most balanced, I would say, out of everyone. Obviously, they've got the experience of winning together and that as well, actually getting over the line. You can even say that Liverpool have world-class players, right? Obviously, Man City, they've got the experience of winning as well. But I think defensively, they've got problems, man. You're looking at Nunes. It looks like he's going to be the starting right back. Nori, I rate him offensively, but defensively, bro, I don't really rate him like that.
No,
so I'm not really looking at them as the favourites, right? But in terms of being there, I do think Arsenal will be there. But right now, I don't think you've done enough to go and win the league. I'll be real. I think it'll be best for Arsenal right now.
That's all I said. I said that we're going to be there on their backs, and you was like, "Get off your hands."
I never argued that. What I was debating with you was when you said about the experience.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's the thing that I was saying. But when you talk about obviously Champions League games and the Prem and that, I agree. Of course, you need to play your.
How often does a team that's not been in the title race just go and win it? I think you need to suffer like Liverpool did. You need to suffer like going close to a title and then winning it. The last time Arsenal finished second 3 times in a row, we won a double in 2002. Like, I feel like Liverpool, they came close, 97 points, 96 points, then they finally won it and ran away with it. Very rarely do you see a team just pop up out of nowhere, apart from Leicester, of course, and then they just go and win the league. And that's what I mean by experience as well. Experience in a title running. Your players haven't been in a title running. We've been there before. And yes, you can say we bottled it or whatever you want, but we've been there. So they'll know. They'll be like, right, guys, this time we do it right. We do it properly. Do you know what I mean? Whereas
I hear what you're saying. But then at the same time, bro, there's been many occasions now where, you know, the media, ops, like the rivals and that, they've all been against Chelsea. Like, when you talk about the running to go and get top 5, we were the least favourite to go and get it. You need to remind yourself of the teams that we played to go and get top 5, bro. Like, we didn't even get top 5. We got top 4. You're talking about even the Club World Cup. Everyone was laughing at us. Chelsea will get knocked out by the quarterfinals and that. Again, against all odds, we went and won it. So these guys actually have experience of not being the favourites, of being the underdogs.
Yeah,
and
that's when you look do your best, like, that's when you look do your best.
Yeah, it feels like to me they thrive on that. Because Reece James, before the final on that, when we played PSG, he said we're going to win it. Levi Cole said we're not Inter Milan, we're not Real Madrid. That's big boy talk. You know what I'm saying? That's big boy talk, and that is all experience, bro.
When you've won the Champions League, you've been average as a team, and you've gone and won the Champions League twice. You finished 6th and 4th in it when you won it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I'm not saying that we're going to win it, but we definitely have the chance to win it.
But I think you'd have more chance of winning the Champions League than the Premier League.
You know what? I agree with that.
Yeah,
I actually agree with that.
On Chelsea, because we're on that talking point. Ronan here says, what does a second place trophy look like? That made me laugh. Obviously, there's a lot of talk in the last 24 hours. Fabrizio keeps posting about it. That typically means something's going on. I'll go to Staffy first on this. He's been silent for a while, but Alejandro Garnacho again today. Chelsea are his preference. Chelsea are likely to go for him after they complete the deal for Xavi, which there's just been an update on that. That's very close to happening. But Garnacho to Chelsea, is that a member of the squad that can help Chelsea get into this title race and maybe get them over the line for these major trophies Don's talking about, Staffy?
No, if I'm being honest, no. We were on the top 6 yesterday where, oh my God, I forgot his name. I'm sorry, the Chelsea rep.
Quest.
Quest. Yeah, shout out to him. He was talking crazy about Garnacho gassing him up and all that. But I don't look at this as a priority signing. There's a reason why they're taking their time with it. They're probably going to try to lowball us by the end of the summer, knowing that he's not even going to be integrated back into the team. He's not even training. He's not in preseason. They're aware of all that. I look at him as a signing where Chelsea been making a lot of these signings recently over the last, 3 years, where just look at players and they just see like if there's potential in them and a potential flip, I should say. They go ahead and make these deals. They try to get them on a cheap. and try to give him one or two good seasons, whether it's at the club or on loan, and they'll go ahead and flip him and try to double their money. To me, he probably comes in as a replacement for Mudryk, and Mudryk had a very, very limited role at this team where he was like second or third option on either wing. He barely got any minutes. And I feel like because they lost him, they're kind of trying to replace him with a similar profile. And when I say profile, it's not necessarily the way they play, but at least like age-wise, the stage that they are in their career. They paid a lot of money for Mudryk, don't get me wrong, but I think because they lost him, they kind of want to add one more. And that's the only reason I'm looking at Garnacho like this. And to be fair, he's not even making it easy for himself or us, because he's just coming out crying about wanting to be in the Premier League. I mean, I don't know who's advising him, because I don't think he goes to Chelsea and even gets any minutes like that. And if he does go, I give it 2 seasons until he's shipped on again. So he's kind of putting us in a tough spot by just requesting Chelsea. News were coming out today. I think it was Ben Jacobs that said that he's getting bids from other suitors, but he just wants to go to Chelsea. That's his destination. I look at it being a cheap deal. They're going to lowball us at the end. It's probably going to be somewhere around £30 million at the end. You know, nothing near the evaluation that United wanted last year when they thought we're rejecting 50 from Napoli because we could sell them for 60 or 70. So it's one of those where I just want it done as a United fan. I just want it done. I want it moved on. I'll take the £30 million better than nothing, because I can guarantee that if he doesn't move, the guy's going to get no minutes. He's not going to be integrated back to the team. It's just so obvious. So Chelsea are in the driver's seat when it comes to this deal, I'll be honest.
Yep. Yeah, listen, I'm with Ches on this one. Ches said it's a win-win situation, yeah. And personally, for me, you already know my feelings on Garnacho. Like, I don't want this guy. You know, there's other players in that position that I'd rather go and spend that money on. For example, you've got Fofana, the one that might be going to Everton from Lyon. I'd rather even go fucking get in Dai from Everton, bro. Right? Go bring me in Dai, someone better than this guy, because I don't like his petulance. I don't like the baggage that he brings with his brother. You know what I mean? In terms of his finishing in front of goal, it's very inconsistent. He's similar to Noni Madueke. Like, he gets in positions to score, but his finishing's poor. You know, on the ball, he's very easy to dispossess. You know, there are a few things that he brings off the bench in terms of his creativity, like he's good with the cutbacks and he finds himself in good positions. And if Maresca actually improves his finishing, he can be one of the best left wingers in the Prem. I'll be real, because like he knows how to get himself in those positions. But the problem that I've got, Staffy, is do I think he'll get there? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, bro. That's the problem. Yeah, and I don't know why you're doing all that, because how many times? Yeah,
finishing away from being. So you're telling me the only thing he's missing is better finishing to be one of the best left wings in the Premier League. Come on, man. What are we doing?
Bro, if his finishing, if his finishing was clean, yeah, and clinical, Staffy, right? You would not be cooking this guy the way that you do, bro.
I think he does well at Chelsea.
Yeah? I think I just gave you the weaknesses that he's got. It's not just the finishing. I agree with you, bro. There's a lot more that I don't like about this guy. But I'm saying one of the major problems that I've got with Garnacho is the amount of big chances that he misses, bro. He misses too many big chances, and I'm sick and tired of it. I just went through a season with Jackson, a season with Madueke. Now you want to go replace that with a guy that's similar to those guys. It don't really make sense.
But do you back your manager? Do you rate him?
I rate him, yeah, and I pray that he improves it. But whether he does it, I don't know, bro.
But the only thing about what you're saying that doesn't compute in my brain, and maybe it's because you're planting seeds for a classic Don I told you so, is you seem against it in one sentence, and then the next you're like, with a manager and a coach that you back and a team that you think is moving towards challenging for titles, which means you're in a good environment by proxy. Him being just finishing away from being one of the best wingers in the league, I'd be well excited about signing someone like that, removing him. But I'd be excited if you think your club's in a good position, being run well, great environment, improving, really rate your manager. I would be excited about taking a player that you believe is finishing away from being one of the best wingers in the world, who's leaving for him what is a toxic environment. That wouldn't be stressing me out at all. I'd be over the moon.
The reason why I'm saying that is because I've accepted that he's coming. That's why I'm saying that, bro. I don't want Garnacho, bro, because I feel like we can get players that are better than this guy already. Yeah. The point that I'm making is if he comes in, because I watch a lot of United, you know how much I watch your team, right? And I've got serious PTSD. I've just been going back and forth with D, talking about how we didn't really challenge last year because we kept missing chances. So why do I want another guy that's like that? Yeah. That's one thing that he needs to improve in his game, bro. He's only young. He can improve it. Cool. but he needs to improve that quickly because I cannot deal with Palmer creating for this guy and he misses. Enzo creating for this guy and he keeps missing. I don't want that no more, bro. Yeah, I want guys that are most of the time when they're in front of goal, you're even celebrating before they get there. Garnacho, when he's in front of goal, everyone's sitting down, bro, because most time he misses. You know what I'm saying? I'll never forget that miss against Spurs, yeah? The guy was in the box, he cuts in. I remember that time, that was in February actually, right? Because I was in Paris at the time. He cuts in, you remember that shot, Staffy? I man just banged it over the bar.
The game because of it, or drew, I forgot.
Yeah.
I know.
You know what I mean?
It was probably his worst game last season. Listen, there's a lot more to his game. I hear what you're saying. There's a lot more to his game that needs improvement for him to be one of the best left wingers in the league. My biggest issue with him is it's always been the people who are around him. I think the kid is deluded. He thinks he's a lot better than he is. He's not even a squad player because you can have limited players that are squad players that contribute more to the team and you'll take him. The thing is, he's always viewed himself as one of the best players in the team. He's not a great dribbler. He's not a great finisher. His footballing IQ is so low. His arrogance just makes it a lot worse. I said it before. I'd rather have Dan James in my team than Garnacho. Dan James knew his limitations. Dan James knew what he can bring to the team. I'd rather a player that knows his limitations and works on improving his game rather than a player who thinks he's a regen of Ronaldo when he's never going to be that. That is going to be the biggest issue with him in his career. The biggest issue Garnacho is always going to face, that he's going to always think that he's bigger than he is. I don't look at his game and I think, can it be improved? Of course. Any player can genuinely, you could sit here and say, yes, I can make an argument that anything in his game can be improved. First of all, they have to be willing to do it first. Secondly, if you don't even acknowledge what you're not good at, you're never going to improve. His thing was, and this is probably where I'm going to end it with this. His downfall in his career is always going to be that he thinks that he's better than he is. He's never going to be a player that leads a team. He's not going to be your best, your first, second, or third best player on the team. Once you accept a role like you're a Martinelli or someone like that, which, by the way, I'd rather have Martinelli in my team than him. Yes, and people don't even rate Martinelli. I'd rather have a player that knows his limitation and knows he's a role player in the team than someone that thinks he's a regen of Ronaldo or something when he's never going to live up to that. And when it comes, by the way, to ball striking, I don't know what the hell you think Maresca's going to do, because Ten Hag, listen, as bad as he was with United, it's not like he can't tell a player how to strike a ball.
Yeah,
Everyone the same thing. That shit don't happen when you're 21, bro. No one's going to go to a 21-year-old and tell him how to strike a ball. You know these attributes. You either have it or you don't have it. There's players that go their whole career never scoring a goal because they can't strike a ball. And there's players who the minute you see them play 1 minute, well, not 1 minute, one game of football, you're like, yeah, he can hit a ball.
The thing is, his ball strike is not the problem.
That until he decides, maybe, you know what, I probably need to work on that. That's individual work. No manager is improving a player's ball striking.
I don't think his ball striking is the problem. The problem is his accuracy, man.
No,
like most of his shots,
is horrible. It is horrible, bro. He strikes it like a toddler, bro. That's why he had like 7 goals last season.
I think it's more than that, bro. I think this guy's just a lot of his shooting is quite inaccurate. Like the thing that you've got with Garnacho, I've always said this about United, right? He's a problem when you're dependent on him. If you're playing him week in, week out, starting him week in, week out, you're gonna get mad because he's not at the level.
He doesn't believe that. He doesn't believe he's a role player.
This is what I'm getting at. This is what I'm getting at. If you've got Garnacho coming off the bench like what he usually was doing, towards the end of last season and that, coming off the bench, against tired legs and that, he is effective in that sense. But if you're starting him week in, week out, the same problem I had with Noni Madueke, you're going to get a lot of inconsistent performances. That's when you get mad at him, right? If we're bringing this guy in to be starting for us, I've got a big problem. Big problem. But if he's just there in the background, like we're bringing in Xavi Simons as well, you bring him off the bench and that, you start some cup games and whatnot, because he likes to cook in the cups, let's be real, yeah? Then I'm okay with that. As much as I don't want him, I'm okay with that. The major problem that I've got is if you're starting him week in, week out, because he's not at that level to be starting week in, week out for any of our teams.
Yeah, but that's the issue that's not going to go away. This is why after the Europa League final, when he came out and said, I couldn't believe I only played 22 minutes. I played a big part of our season coming here. He had 1 goal, by the way, in the Europa League campaign. So going into that final, he gave us 1 goal. If anything, he almost cost us that second leg against Atletico Bilbao when he tried to chip the goalkeeper and he was missing chances left and right. The minute we took him out and we brought him Mason Mount, and to be fair, that was the only great game I've seen for Mason Mount in the United jersey. Terry will tell you that. Scored 2 goals as soon as he came on. Chipped the goalkeeper from the halfway line. If it wasn't for him, we probably wouldn't even be in the final because we were down 1-0 and this guy was fucking about in front of the goalkeeper. He's never going to be that player. You might want to bring him in as a squad player, someone who comes off the bench, starts the odd game, helps with rotations in certain competitions. If you're Champions League or Europa League or whatever, and you have like high volume games, sure, he's never going to be that. The reason why is that this kid came in at 18 years old, and he started games for United, and it got to his head. People like Terry were sitting there 3 years ago saying, "Oh, give him more minutes, play him more games," and I was screaming that he was never ready to be a starter. 3 years later, his games regressed.
Incorrect. I've said many a time that we threw him into the first team and gave him too many minutes too early.
He was calling him the next big thing and shit. I remember that shit. You guys gassed him up. People like you gassed him up.
No.
That's why we're here.
You cry all the time in the group chats when you get misrepresented, asking KJ to change titles of videos and stuff. So this have this right. So I was very excited about this young man when he came through, but many a time on multiple occasions said, I think he's getting too much game time too early in his career. I don't think he's ready for it. We've done this to multiple players, and we've said that before. For instance, Rasmus, I still think if he came into our team with the confidence he had when he arrived, with a proper number 9 ahead of him and was used a little more sparingly, I think we'd be looking at potentially a better player right now. Chelsea have gone through that in the last few years where they've gone and got players. Someone like Mykhailo Mudryk should never have been the money that he cost, going straight into a team that was dysfunctional under that pressure. If he'd have gone to somewhere like an Arsenal where he wouldn't have had to have been the main guy straight away and been nurtured through, there could have been a different path for him. Sometimes you get youngsters like Yamal, like Wayne Rooney, that adjust to it when Aries kind of doing it, where they adjust to it straight away. It's why I keep telling Arsenal fans, slow down on Dalman. I went and did the research on this. If Dalman plays 21 minutes this season, that's more than every other 15-year-old in the history of the Premier League. If he plays more than 200 minutes this season, that's more than every 15 and 16-year-old in the history of Premier League football combined. So you have to look at these things. So I do think there's a player in there. I haven't changed my mind on Garnacho having talent. Do I think he's the best player in the world? No, I think he could do quite well at Chelsea. I actually think he's going to do well there. I would rather him gone abroad, because I think at Chelsea or an Arsenal or other clubs that were linked to him, it may come back to haunt us at least twice a season when he plays against us. And I think what happens when he goes Chelsea is I wind Chelsea fans up about it not being good. I don't think it'll be that bad. He's going to go into Chelsea and there's going to be an environment in there where he isn't suddenly this top dog. At Man United, he became top dog too quickly in that dressing room before developing. He's going to walk into Chelsea, Reece James, Cucurella, Colwell, Palmer, etc. They'll be his friends and they'll get on with him. But they will not allow him to step out of line. He won't need Maresca. It won't need the manager to fall out with him. The players will self-police that stuff. At United, we didn't have that element. And I think if he goes somewhere where he's
Ronaldo, what are you talking about? Who else is going to put him in his place?
Hang on. See, but this is where you see again. That was his first season when he was playing. Then we all saw the promise in him. There was a player in there. It's what then happened over the subsequent next couple of years when Ronaldo was moved on. This man got put on a pedestal. This man was getting played too much when he wasn't ready. And it came to a point where he was undroppable. And we all saw actually in his first season and a half, his better performances came when he came on from the bench. And that's what most of us, including me, wanted for him at that time. Yes, I won't lie, because the clips are out there, the videos are out there. I was excited about this young man because he was a talent when he came through, but I also don't like what's happened to him. But I will have the same energy for Garnacho as I had for the more talented players like Paul Pogba. This club has ruined people. And the problem is, and this is why I wanted a new manager when Ineos came in, and I wanted the cutting of the fat to start straight away, is that you had to it didn't matter whether it's their fault, our fault, talent, hard work, bad agent, or all of those things combined. We have to start cutting out the problems in the club. And we didn't do that quick enough by keeping Ten Hag. That meant we didn't do it quick enough by removing the Rashfords and the Garnachos, and we're doing it now. That doesn't mean these players are not talented. The fact is, you look at the teams that want to buy Garnacho, they're pretty good teams. You look at who wants to buy Rashford, it's Barcelona. These guys are not wanted by Leeds United, by Luton Town, by Leyton Orient, some hokey-pokey team out the back of nowhere. They're wanted by some of the biggest and best teams in the world. That is an objective indicator, and I know you love an indicator, Staffy, that there's talent there. So the only reason I questioned Don is I didn't understand what he was saying. But there's a real talent in here. And I still think, if we're selling him for 30, 40 millions, I'm going to condemn Ineos. That's far too cheap for a player with his potential. It is. And that's what I'm focusing on here. Chelsea want him. Chelsea are one of the biggest clubs in the world. That must be an indicator that although you don't like him and he hasn't done well for us, I think that means there's a good chance he's not dog shit.
Yeah. And listen, Terry, listen, it's a win-win anyway, because if he doesn't work out, we'll just flip him to CEX boys and they'll come
Just send
again.
him to us.
You know what I'm saying? Oh,
You
that's
just
what I
send him
just
to
said,
us.
bro. You man, Arteta will come in. Arteta will come in and it's CEX time and we'll shift him over there and we'll even get profit for him as well. Right. So that's how I'm kind of looking at it, man. He's competing against Gittins. Obviously he would come in. Xavi Simons is another one that could potentially start on that side as well. If you're overlapping the fullback, you've got Hato now that gives you more tactical flexibility as well. So he's not walking into an environment like a United. I agree with it 110%, Terry. But when I'm talking about him, how he is as a player, he needs to improve that finishing quickly, bro. Because I cannot deal with guys that keep missing chances again. I'm sorry, I can't deal with that shit no more.
I hear that. I do hear that. Let's do a few super chats here. This first one says it's crazy how Garnacho is slept on, yet not forget how he was bailing out United under Ten Hag and was United's biggest threat.
Now you know that I'm being gaslit live that this guy was bailing us out. Being gaslit on live YouTube right now. Sure, man. Sure. Yeah, he was bailing us out. Bailing us out while finishing what? 8th? Come on, what are we doing here, bro? Y'all wouldn't keep the same energy for Rashford, and you handed it out of the club, and he literally carried us for a whole season under Ten Hag. But you want to do that for Garnacho? Miss me with this shit, man.
Well, look, I wouldn't say what I agree with you to the extent that he didn't carry us like Ronaldo did in Ten Hag's first season, but he definitely scored some winning goals. He definitely scored goals.
Rashford, not Ronaldo. Rashford literally carried us.
Rashford. No, I meant Rashford. I meant Rashford. I misspoke. What Garnacho did do, though, is score some big goals and score some winning goals and some important goals for us in that 23-24 season, including one that was brought on by the pressure he put on in a cup final. So I wouldn't necessarily call it a carry job. There were definitely some games where he helped bail us out, where he scored some, even that game where he scored the overhead kick against Everton. If we actually go back and watch that game, we weren't very good. And it was a very special goal from him as an example, but I wouldn't put him onto that. I wouldn't put it on carry job level. I agree. I think he'll thrive at Chelsea only due to his hatred of United driving him. He'll be determined to improve his technical and decision-making ability, is what Alex says here. I don't care what you all say about Dan. He always talks facts and what he sees, is what Stephen here.
No one said anything about that.
No, not yet.
Where's that coming from, bro?
Like, what was that? Like,
I like that.
No, we've done that one. Garnacho is a 25 to 30 million pound squad player. See, this is where I disagree, because I don't think he's that far behind other players that we've seen go for 50 odd million. Like, again, if you ask me now, I had to pick one to start on my left or my right. If you said to me Madueke or Garnacho, I am picking Garnacho. Maybe not at Man United because we know what we know, but I would pick Garnacho over Madueke, and he went for 48 million. So this is where I'm going to look at other players in the market and say 25 to 30 million is an insult when you've got other other good players. Alanga went for 55 million. I get why people would say he's better. Ironically, most people, I don't know what Staffy was saying, I don't remember, but most people, when we sold Alanga, weren't saying he was better. One good season and suddenly, and that could also happen with Garnacho.
Madueke had better numbers than Alanga last year.
I was about to say, so you're taking the winger with officially the worst take on stats in his department in the league, instead of the guy where's Madueke, top 2, top 3 in take-ons? So you're taking one with the worst stat. He had the worst percentage in take-ons, but for someone who had 60 plus, something like that.
Yeah,
so you're taking the worst one for a top 3 one.
But I look at it this way, right? So Noni Madueke is a talented player, and I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm saying I would pick Garnacho over him, and I'm nitpicking here. There's a slight difference. I feel that in a team that's stable like Chelsea's, I think Garnacho will deliver more than what Noni Madueke did last year. So yes, I would. Take-ons. Look, Noni Madueke will probably have better take-ons than nearly every winger in Europe. When you actually start going through the stats, I wouldn't take him over nearly every winger in Europe. And we had that conversation before. But I think if Garnacho was in the Chelsea team and set up last year, I think Noni was in that team, which obviously Don's been here praising, and he got 11 goals. Garnacho in our shit show of a team, in a bad season, got 11 goals. So yeah, I do think in a better environment with a team that's playing a system, by the way.
Triple the minutes. What are we doing here? Gassing up Garnacho in big 2025, man.
Hang on. But you're disregarding the point because you're talking about minutes. It was also Garnacho was playing in a system that doesn't suit him. He's been played as a 10 the majority of the time, having to drift out wide. Where at Chelsea, he's going to get played out wide, which is his natural position. I think again, what's disingenuous from you is ignoring that factor. Yes, I would. And by the way, Chelsea fans can all say they disagree with me, but if you're someone who trusts Clearlake, if you trust your sporting directors, if you trust your manager, they all agree with me. Just putting that out there.
Something, yeah. Like you said about top teams are in for Garnacho, and like the same thing with Rashford, right? I agree with you on that, yeah. But do you guys think that sometimes, because Arteta definitely does it, and maybe there's a bit of that in Maresca too. Sometimes these managers have an ego thing when they look at a player. There's something in him. He's not quite performing, and they think, you know what? I can get better out of him. I can do better than what Ruben Ariam's doing. Maresca's thinking, and I can do something with this guy.
Yeah.
Same thing with like what Arteta's done with Havertz. Couldn't quite get Chelsea, and Arteta's thinking, you know what? I can turn this guy into a superstar.
I hear that. I just want to say, Staffy, I just went and checked minutes in the Premier League last year for Garnacho, 2,196 for Noni Madueke in the Premier League last year, 2,047. So in the Premier League, he got about 130 more minutes.
Whatever, man.
Surprise!
You got it. He's the king, bro.
No one's
So
again.
sad we're selling him.
You'll be. I'm not. I want to sell him. I'm not saying it's the wrong thing to do. I'm just pointing out that I think we should be asking for more than 25 to 30 million pounds for him. Do you disagree with that?
No, of course not. I want the most money. But I'm not gonna sit here and be gaslit about what he's done for us over the last 3 years.
No one's gaslighting you because this is not abuse. This is not gaslighting. It's a conversation.
By a super chat telling me he bailed me out. Bailed me out of what?
But I agree with you on that. We're not talking about that. If Noni Madueke's gone for 48 million. Just forget whether I would pick Garnacho over him or not, and the fact that the whole of Chelsea Football Club hierarchy agrees with me. Let's just forget that. I want more than 25 to 30 million. I don't get what you're arguing about. You agree with that statement?
Sure, I want more money. You're still a shit player. I don't know what to tell you.
Fine. Well,
You're a shit player.
Okay.
Someone else can take that shit player. Let's not pretend that he's good.
No one said he was good. Madueke, well, I think he's a good talent. I think he'll do well at Chelsea, but that wasn't part of the argument. But Madueke and Garnacho, worst wingers in the league. Again, that's an exaggeration. It's not true. Terry, this is true. Man United fans that hated Garnacho probably love Pogba, Martial. If you hate Sancho, you probably love Rashford and Bruno. Yeah, look, it's normally by the player that people despise. You can tell the players they like. It's very strange how they kind of fit into these little groups. It's like identity politics online, but in football terms. I think as well that there's an irony in a lot of it, but with who certain players have gone. If you look at the trajectory of careers of the ones that certain people like, what certain people don't, it tells me a lot about people's football knowledge as well. I don't care what you say about. Sorry, we've done that super chat there. Issue on Garnacho is he's delusional and his brother. I agree about his brother. Thank you for becoming a member, Just Bello. That's massively appreciated. Thank you, bro. Runin thinks that we can fix him. Big bro. Enzo, style of play that suits him, manager that will work with him.
I'm telling you, I need Enzo to stick it on this guy, bro. Yeah, and get him locked in. That's what I need. You know, if he's coming off the bench and helping us win games and that, no problem.
Just all of that, just no sing-songs on buses. That's all he's got. No sing-songs on buses. That's the only thing you shouldn't do. Fab and I agree that Xavi Simons is 75% likely to happen. Big up to the panel. Thank you very much, my friend. You won the World Community Shield, mate. Relax is what Scooby-Doo says here.
Yeah, something that you're never going to win, mate.
Don't say that. Staffy will get so offended because it was in America and he just gets angry about it. I'm trying to calm my bro down. I don't want him getting upset, man.
Oh, Staffy saw some champagne football. Staffy was there, bro. You know what I mean?
Goalkeeper, since when did kicking ability trump saving?
Hey, modern day football, man. This is what's happened.
This here says there's no trophies for being a challenger. Arsenal don't understand. It matters nothing. You either win or you don't. Chelsea, no winning. On the back of this super chat, Dan, have you been a little taken aback by the level of criticism, banter, hate?
No, not at all, man. I'm used to it.
Hang on, no. I didn't finish the question. No, I didn't finish the question. In relation to Victor Gyokeres yesterday, after his 2 touches in his first debut, because the kind of Gyokeres agenda, I did enjoy some of it yesterday. I'm not going to lie. I saw one where they put him in these big Timberland boots as started. I'm even seeing claims that he's going to be too overweight for the English Premier League. What do you make of the reaction to your defeat yesterday and Gyokeres' cameo appearance?
Do you know what? I'm going to do a video on it later as well, yeah? Because seriously, bro, have you seen the guy's body? Have you seen how ripped up this guy is? He's ripped up to shreds.
Staffy's definitely looked.
So if someone's not that big, then they're going to get overpowered in the Premier League. They're not physical. Now because a man's coming in quite physical and quite strong looking. Listen, like, I don't look in. See these things here after 5 minutes or 12 minutes or whatever he played. I don't take no notice of any of that. I don't look at Twitter. I don't look at any of it. It doesn't mean anything to me. Because on that first day of the season, if he bangs a goal in at Old Trafford, busts that celebration, we get the 3 points, it's all good. The guy's going to score goals. Everyone knows he's going to score goals. It's all a bit of fun, I get it. But I'm not worried in the slightest about a 12-minute cameo in a preseason game. And if you are, you're just stupid. Simple as that.
How many goals do you predict them to score?
In the league?
Staffy there with a Terry Flewers question. I like it.
In the league?
My apprentice,
my
apprentice is learning well.
In the league, 20. If he's on penalties, 25 plus.
He's creating all these chances for him, bro.
The man who creates the most chances in the Premier League every year.
Bro, you just gave him Mo Salah numbers
Saka.
from last season. You know what you just did? You just gave him Mo Salah numbers from last season. Mo Salah, the best player in the Premier League last season. You just gave him 25 plus. Why?
Yeah, I said if he's on penalties, it'll be 25 plus. But in saying that, we only got 2 penalties.
He'll probably be on penalties. Let's just do that because there's probably no better penalty taker on the team.
Yeah,
so
I think Saka has to turn around and say, look, take it, because strikers thrive off confidence, right? So if he ain't scored for 2 or 3 games, you get a penalty, his confidence is up. I think the striker, who people, especially strikers that live and breathe on goals, you've got to give them the penalties. And Arteta, they asked him in the interview, and Arteta said that's between the players. I didn't like that. I love Arteta, but I didn't like that. I think he needs to come in and be like, look, this is my striker. He's going to need it for confidence. Saka, look, you're the star boy, but he's going to be on the penalties. Because Saka doesn't rely on that. If Saka has a good game, whether he scores a goal or not, he gets assists. He's always 9 times out of 10, he's our best player. So his confidence is always up anyway. He's the man. You know, we all love him. The fans love him regardless, even if he has a bad game. But when it comes to Gyokeres,
I can't keep a straight face. You just said I asked you a question. I said, who's creating all these chances? You said the guy that always creates the most chances in the league, and then you mentioned Odegaard.
Yeah, Odegaard and Saka, they're both up there in the top 5 for creating chances.
Yeah, but you said they create the most. They create the most.
Odegaard did create the most. The season before last, he created the most.
Not last season, he didn't.
No, the season before. He was
you're going to do it again then. So you believe that Odegaard...
He was injured for 4 months. Look, Odegaard...
You believe that Odegaard will be back to his best then,
Havertz and Marino. Now you give him a proper striker, you're going to see.
So now you what? Okay, let me ask you this then, Dan. Yeah. So do you believe that Saka and Odegaard will be back at their best this season?
Yes.
What makes you say that about Odegaard, first of all?
Because I think he's going to have a proper striker for number 1, and he's going to be fully fit. Sometimes when you've been injured for 4 months and then you come back, it's very hard to get in your rhythm. This is what people don't realize. Even when, like I said, we had injuries, but then he's coming back from injury. You don't just come back like that. So when Odegaard was out for the first 4 months of the season, and he come back the first 2 games, no one could believe it because he played so well. I think it was against you lot. I went to Chelsea away and he was man of the match and he was phenomenal. And we think we drew 1-1. And no one could, everyone was like, oh, Odegaard's back. We're back in the groove and that. And then he fell off after that because Ben White was the same, 3 months out. So many players. When you're out, it takes a lot. You don't just come back full steam ahead. Do you know what I mean? It takes time to get back in your rhythm. So I think
So you believe that he'll be able to apply himself well. He's going to score goals again. He's going to be creating for Gyokeres. He's not going to be, shrugged off the ball. He's not going to be doing up Casper during matches. You believe that he'll be back to the guy.
And all that, flicking the hair and all that. No, I do. I believe if this is going to be... look, with me, I'll be honest. I'm up to here with it with Odegaard. This is it now. Mm-hmm. For me, this is... Look, let me say this, right? Right now, for Arsenal, this is it. It's make or break.
Yeah.
For Arteta, it's make or break. For our captain, it's make or break. Simple as that. Because if Arteta doesn't win the league, and if Odegaard doesn't have a good season, they both have to go. Simple as that. And then you get a manager, and you give the captaincy to Declan Rice, and you get another creator to come and play instead of
we'll talk about Rice in a sec as well. But for you, Dan, are you concerned about Saka going forward, right? Because look, I didn't really watch many of your preseason games. I watched a bit of the Newcastle game because I was on holiday, and then I watched the one when you played against Spurs, right? And he looked off it in that game. Spence locked him up, and we know that he's got.
He got
we
fouled,
know.
bro.
Hold
What
on,
game was you watching?
Hold on, bro. Hold on.
He got fouled more than
You
10
guys,
times than Spence.
you guys rushed him back, yeah. Because before the injury,
Saka was
let me just
quality
give
in that game.
let me give you my take on Saka's season.
Go on.
Last season, start of the season, he was cooking. Because I was even saying, performance-wise, he's actually playing better than Palmer, like in terms of his overall performance. Then he got the injury. When he came back, it was very clear to me to see that he wasn't fit, right? Regardless of what he did at the Bernabeu and that.
100%.
When I was watching him, I'm like, yo, this guy doesn't look fit. Are you concerned that he'll go into the season looking the same way, or do you think that he'll be back to his best in terms of his fitness? Because once again, he got injured the other day, bro, and when he fell, I saw the scar again, bro. That scar is massive. You know what I'm saying?
Look,
so how are you feeling about Saka going forward, man?
Look, so with Saka, like, look, this is why Arsenal fans in particular, when you guys say what you say, it doesn't really bother me, because we all do that to each other, right? But when you got your own fans saying some of this stuff, that's when it irritates me, right? Terry will see when I was on the show the other day with Aaron, right? Everyone moans that Arsenal don't have depth, and every single Arsenal fan, everyone, I'll go home and away most games, and everyone moans Saka gets overplayed, and it's what they bash Arteta over the head with it, you know what I mean? But he's our best player, like, you know, it's very hard to leave out your best player, but he does get overplayed. Like at certain points, I have to agree, he gets overplayed, right? So now he's bringing Madueke. Now Madueke can play on the left and the right, but he can cover for Saka, and he can give Martinelli a kick up his backside, which he needs, right? Hopefully we're gonna get God willing, we're gonna get an Eze. But on the right now, you've got Wanyeri, but obviously he's 18 years old. You've got Dalman. Wow. Now this guy, like, come on, this guy looks special, but he's 15, so you got to protect the boy, right? So now obviously Saka doesn't have to get overplayed now, right? He doesn't have to, because if we've got like I don't know, who's just come up, a Leeds at home, well, that's the second game of the season, so probably gonna have to play him. But you catch my drift. If we've got like an easier game, or and we've got a big Champions League game on in midweek, we can rest Saka. Or if we've got a Carabao Cup game, we don't have to play Saka, because you can play a Madueke. You need depth. So in answer to your question, I don't think he's going to play as many games as he did last season. So I think that Madueke in particular has been bought to have someone similar in a way, where he cuts in on his left as well to Saka, and not put so much pressure on like an 18-year-old to Wanyeri. So
okay, so you feel like, do you feel like there'll be less risk of him getting injured? But what I'm asking you though is, in the games, in terms of his performances in the games, do you think that he'll be back at his best, bro? Because since the injury,
I have no doubt whatsoever. I think this will be Saka's best season yet.
Wow, that's a big shout, you know.
Yeah, this will be his best season yet. If he stays fit, this will be his best season yet.
And what do you think about where you played Declan Rice as well? Do you like it, bro?
Yeah, I think that's where he's got to play. I think he's got too much to be playing as a CDM.
What do you mean? What's the too much? What's the too much that he's got? What do you like? What do you like that he brings in that role, in that advanced position?
I think when he gets on the ball, when he runs forward, he's carrying of the ball. I believe he can score goals. I think he's got too much of his game to sit there and just. I don't think he can dictate a game like a Zubomendi could either. So I think Declan Rice, you look at his performances, in particularly in the Champions League against Real Madrid home and away, and look, forget the free kicks, the away game against Real Madrid, I was there at the Bernabeu. The guy bossed the whole game. He was everywhere and anywhere. And look, sometimes you're chasing games, and sometimes you've got to defend leads to win titles. And that's where you'll see the best of Declan Rice. And he will run and run and run more than anyone. And he'll cover every blade of grass, Steven Gerrard style. And then he'll get forward at the end. And he started to add goals. He started to add goals to his game as well.
So you like his overall game when he's playing in that 8 role. You like what he brings offensively.
You're going off one pre-season game against Spurs.
I'm not going off of one pre-season game. You haven't been watching straight facts. You ain't been watching enough of my content then. Because what I've been seeing a lot of Arsenal fans talking about now is that Declan Rice in that position ain't it, right? This is something I've been talking about for time. Even away from the goals that this guy scores, over 90 minutes, he is not the right profile to be played in that role. And I'm not even cooking Rice too tough, because I think individually, me and Staffy have spoken about this many times. I think individually, Rice is a very good player. Yeah, Zubimendi is a very good player. Odegaard at his best is a very good player. But the way Arteta sets up your midfield, for me, it doesn't get the best out of it. For me personally, I think he's best in a double pivot, playing as a DM. You play him next to a Zubimendi. You play Odegaard in front of him, right? or you play Eze if you get Eze in front of him, I think that will make your midfield a lot better. I think you will have more chemistry, more cohesion like that. But when you're playing this guy in that advanced position, bro, you can't teach a fish how to climb a tree. Yeah, he might be able to, you know, box crash and get you the odd goal here and there, but the overall game in that position, he's not progressive enough. And that's why centrally, your creativity down the middle ain't great. You don't like to look at Odegaard a lot. Everything's always Odegaard. And I'm like, hold on a second. Odegaard might not be performing, but he's got his midfield partner on the other side who is not doing enough offensively as well. He might give you the set pieces and the corners, you know, and you'll get assists from that. And again, you'll get you the odd goal here and there and whatnot. Cool. But his overall game over 90 minutes, over 90 minutes, hold on, Dan, yeah? Over 90 minutes, if you play Eze in that position, you play a Dalman in that position, you play Ethan in that position, you will see the dynamic of your midfield change up, bro. Rice is not an attacking midfielder, and the longer that Arteta keeps persisting with him in that position,
attacking midfielder. He's playing left centre mid. He's not playing left centre attacking.
Bro, he plays in the left. He plays in the left half space, bro. He plays in the left half space most of the time. He is in a advanced position.
Before that was not attacking mid. He's not an attacking.
Yeah, well, bro. Xhaka was basically, bro. You keep the ball most of the time. Arsenal keep the ball, which means that Rice is further up the pitch. For me, I'm glad that you mentioned Xhaka because for me personally, your midfield has gone backwards since you got rid of Xhaka, right? Xhaka in that position was playing
just signed for Sunderland, yeah.
Yeah, the Xhaka that played for Sunderland was playing better. He was better in that position than Rice.
No,
put it that way. He was better in that position than Rice.
No way.
Yeah.
No
and
way
people hear that. People hear that, and I think Rice is a bad player. I don't think Rice is a bad player. I just don't think you're using him in the right position. It's as simple as that.
So you think he should be a CDM?
I think it should be a DM, yeah, with a partner next to him, with Mendy next to him, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good shout. That's a good shout, but to be fair, and like, I don't think Arteta is just going to utilize him in one position. I think if we've got certain big away games and the title race is close and there's 10 games left and we've got City away, then he could easily go and put Rice and Zubimendi there. Do you know, he could easily do that. I think, but then when you're playing at home to Nottingham Forest at home, you put him further up and you go for the kill and you try and win games. So I think like Arteta likes players that can play in a variety of positions. You know, if you look at a lot of his signings, there are players that can play in different positions. Kai Havertz, Marino, Calafiori, and I think Declan Rice. I think he can play him in a double pivot, like you said. He can play CDM on his own, and he can play in left centre mid. So I think it all depends on tactics, what team you're playing, and that's
what it is for me, Dan. When I'm looking at Liverpool, right, and I'm looking at the fact that they've got Wirtz, who's he's a creator in that position. I'm looking at Chelsea. You've got Enzo Fernandez. You've got Palmer. You know, I'm looking at other teams like Aston Villa, for example. They've got Rodgers in their midfield. They might not finish above you, but there's so many other midfields that are set up a lot better than yours that I'm looking at, and I'm like, bro, Arsenal's the way it's set up. It's not it. Like if you was to bring in Eze right now and then you dropped Rice a little bit further back and you play Eze where Rice plays,
I do think we need Eze. We need Eze because you know Eze can make something happen out of nowhere, and also Odegaard with Eze is perfect. The reason why I take Eze over Rodrigo is because Eze can play on the left to show Martin Lillywell, right? But then he can also come in and show Odegaard, listen, right? I'm here as well. So Odegaard knows. Listen, this is what happens in football. When you're playing with better players, you automatically step your game up. So Odegaard knows. Right now, he's got an 18-year-old breathing down his neck, and he's a great talent in Wanyeri. But come on, do you know what I mean? Like people were saying he's going to start him in the Champions League game when Odegaard was off form against PSG. I said it's never going to happen. He's not going to start an 18-year-old over the captain, Martin Odegaard. But if you've got a player like Eze, who's Premier League proven, who's just coming off the back of winning the FA Cup, scoring in the semi-final and the final, then Odegaard, it's natural, bro. It's natural. In any world, if someone's doing well that you're working with, and especially when you're in the same line of work, whatever you're doing, it gives you a boost. So Eze is important. He's very important. Yeah, 100%.
I feel like for me, we've seen more than enough evidence now to see that Arteta's quite a pragmatic manager. Like when I'm watching him and how he sets up his teams, he's thinking of not conceding first before actually, you know, giving his team the best chance to be fluid. You know what I mean? Like the first year you competed, again, going back to that midfield, you had Xhaka in there, you had Odegaard in there, you had, you know, Partey in there. It was free flowing football, bro. It was beautiful football. Yeah. Now I look at you guys.
What would you call Arsene Wenger? Manager? What sort of manager?
He was a progressive manager, bro. Attacking.
Yeah. Well, can I ask you whose team do you think scored more goals? You know, Arsene Wenger's most goals in the season or Arteta's?
What do you mean? Because we've seen a combination. we've seen a combination because I just told you Arteta when he first came was playing some nice.
I'm not talking about then. I'm talking. So Arteta's best goal scoring season wasn't last season. It was the season before when we got to 89 points.
Yeah, and that season, the way you set up, what did you do in that second half of the season, bro? Rice was playing in the pivot.
No, Rice was playing on the left.
He was playing in the pivot, bro. In the second half,
he was playing.
He started to play in the double pivot, bro. In the second half of the season,
left centre mid. Partey was the DM.
No, didn't you have Jorginho that was starting the games for a little bit?
No, he was coming in every now and then, but that's when Rice he actually started the season in the DM, and then when
he started in the DM, and then he moved up, and then he went back
again. After that Dubai break, he brought him into the left, and he was actually scoring goals. I remember in particular the screamer he scored against West Ham when we beat them 6-0.
Yeah,
People forget we were beating teams 5-0, 6-0, 4-0. We beat you lot 5-0 that season. But
no one's criticizing that though. No one's criticizing that. We're talking about the now. What we're seeing now isn't what you were doing then. That's the point that we're making. That.
Yeah, but that's look again. For part of the season, he wasn't with Odegaard. We had a lot of. I know I keep going towards it, but injuries does affect the way the whole cohesion of the team, and I think that's maybe what happened a little bit with Rice, but he still had a good season last year, and like I'll keep pointing out to you, in them big games for us, he was phenomenal.
Guys, I want to jump in just because I've got another show at 6:30, and I want to go to some of these super chats. Before I do that, Don, very quick question for you on Saka, because you you smiled when he said it would be best season ever. I want to take from that, but I want to give you the chance to answer it rather than implying it. You don't think Saka's going to have a good season?
Bro, I'm skeptical about Saka going into the season, man. I think in terms of his explosion, he's not looking as explosive as what he was. You know what I'm saying? Yes, he's got a target man now that he can aim for. So I think he'll still keep creating. He'll get assists and whatnot. But just in terms of his overall game, Terry, I think it will take him a bit of time to be back to what I was seeing before he got injured, personally.
I hear that. Let's do some of these super chats here. First one says, good morning, gents. Wish my team was in for Sesko. We should keep with my team in for Sesko. We should keep Rasmus. He can come off the bench and send Obi out on loan. Me and Staffy agree on this. No, sell him, please. I think. But thank you for the super chat, bro. Why are we acting like Rice wasn't class as a box to box? Yeah, he is. I wouldn't call him an attacking midfield. That's where I agree with Dan. I'd say he's a box to box. Havertz was on track. Was on track for in and around 20 goals. Marino even bagged goals. It's not crazy to think Gyokeres will score. It's not crazy to think Gyokeres will score that many goals.
Big up the people. Big up the people in the comments.
By the way, boys, I'm a Chelsea fan, not United. I have dyslexia, so I have to double check with Siri. I was trying to say that he was balling you lot for you lot, and I'm excited for Garnacho. Big up Terry and the panel. You ain't got to apologize about being dyslexic. I'm dyslexic, so if you're writing dyslexic and I'm reading dyslexic, we're fucked, bruv. Do you know what I mean? It's a mad combo. If United get Sesko, is that a better top three than Arsenal's?
Boy, that attack will be fluid, though. That attack will be fluid. God, Staffy, you're talking.
My bad. I said probably not, because if they get Eze to play on the left, I'll still take that front line.
Yeah, if they get Eze, no. If it's Martinelli, Gyokeres, and Saka, we're having
Martinelli weighs it down. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Martinelli,
he weighs it down.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. Don, will Chelsea be above Arsenal if you have that much experience?
Hey, make sure that you're there end of the window, man.
I prefer United to go for Diego Costa, better investment than Donnarumma. Fair. Can see why Liverpool pulled out of the Isak race, can focus on a left wing back. They haven't pulled out. Paul Joyce has just tweeted a minute ago, made a comment recently saying there's a difference between not bidding and ending a pursuit. And I'm like, yeah, we all know that. If Paul Joyce isn't saying it's over, it ain't over. Would Villa sell Watkins to a top six rival? Yes, for the right money, they would. I've already done that super chat there. Newcastle need to use their money to sign the best brand manager on the planet to grow their brand as quickly as possible so they can get money coming in. Now, they need a manager that helps them progressing. Who's a brand manager? What is a brand manager? And some of those guys might be like, some of you might say Contes or Jose's or players like managers that are huge. The issue is they're not going to win straight away with that squad, and they'll leave very quickly. So it'll be counterproductive. Everybody talks about Arsenal not playing fluid football anymore. Yes, 95% of teams sit in their box. Lol. That's why we need Eze. That is a fair. Would you say it's a fair counter to your argument, Don? That if most teams sit back in a low block like Liverpool Spurs did yesterday, with 11 men behind the ball.
He'll find out this season when it starts happening to them.
Bro, what do you mean? It already happens to us. But I've literally said to you, Terry, whoever Arteta brings in will show me the style of play he wants to go down. If you bring in, I've told you many times, you bring in Eze, you bring in a Morgan Gibbs-White, you bring in a Rodrigo on the left, the dynamic of their attack changes. But if you're playing guys like Rice in that position, for me, against the low blocks, it's not it. It's not it, bro.
Don, it's never too late to apply for law. All love, though, is what Jeff Bello says here.
Big up, man. Look, big up.
I want to thank every single person who has tuned into the show. It's always a pleasure. I'm live again in literally 15 minutes on this channel with Ben Jacobs, where we'll be getting the lowdown on all these transfers we've spoken about. And I like that show because I don't have to do much talking. I just hand over to Ben and he does it all. So we'll see you all in about 15 minutes time. This is going to redirect you to that stream. So just stay here, click on it. So you're ready for us to go live. Dan, Don, my brother Staffy, my best
big
bro
up, guys.
Staffy.
Good chat, man. I'm going to follow you lot on socials, innit? Yeah?
Sweet. Cheers. We'll speak to everybody again very, very soon. See you all in about 50. Let me make sure this is redirecting, actually, because sometimes I say that and then it hasn't been set up. It is. We'll see you all there in a few minutes. Peace.
Nice one, man.